What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario Direct, and I'm your host, Drew Agnew. And today I've got 3 exciting announcements to share with you guys. Really pumped to finally be able to talk about all of this with you. This has been rattling around in my head for the past 7 months. I think some of this actually started off as a New Year's resolution, so it's finally cool to get it all out there. But I won't waste any more of your time. I'll jump straight into it. So first of all, I'm starting a brand new podcast, and that podcast is called A Drew Story. So what A Drew Story is, it's going to be bi-weekly, and it's a story-driven and conversational podcast where I share people's interesting stories about their passions, life experiences, and nostalgic memories. So each episode I'll have someone new on, and we'll go through a story, whether it's, it might be the first time they watched Spider-Man. It could be something as simple as that, or it could be the road they went on to get a certain job they've been dreaming of. Or it could even be, memories of their favourite TV program. It could be like, I remember this about Pokemon from years ago. Like, it could be absolutely anything. I'm not putting any limits on this show. There's nothing I won't talk about. If someone comes to me and says, Drew, I want to talk about this, I'll be all about it. As long as it's, not vile and awful. But, there could be an audience for that, but yeah, maybe not, eh? I'm doing this because doing the House of Mario, we talked to heaps of interesting people, we've met lots of friends, and this is a way to sort of branch out to something that isn't just about video games. Obviously, the House of Mario, love doing it, love talking about video games, but this is just something else, another sort of creative outlet to sort of express myself and meet lots of people and have a lot of fun with. So if you're interested in listening to that podcast, it's up now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. What's the Google one called? Google Play, Google Podcasts. I think it's just called Google Podcasts. That's not available in Australia, so it's not really a thing I think about often. But I know you Americans on your Android devices who are against Spotify, I guess. Yeah. There you go, Google Podcasts. Yeah, and if you could subscribe, leave a review, and all that stuff, that would be awesome. Just a brand new podcast that can potentially get you into the new and noteworthy, especially on Apple Podcasts, and that just helps with visibility and everything. So that would be awesome if you guys could do that. So yeah, links in the show notes below. Check out my new podcast. Really excited about it, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. Next up, we have a brand new TeePublic store. So you'll be able to go to that if you're interested in a jumper, a t-shirt, stickers, mugs, a laptop sleeve, anything with the House of Mario logo on it, you can now buy and wear on your body, reap the brand, etc., etc. I had this store actually set up for a fair while, and I've been keeping it in secret, but I did that so I could buy some stuff off it, see what the quality was like, and for the most part, I'm really happy with the quality. So the t-shirts, the jumpers, the laptop sleeve's really good. But I actually did get one jumper and one t-shirt with a bit of like splash of like the ink. But that wasn't such a bad thing because I was actually able to go to the sort of, the customer relations and see what the refund policy and all that was like. So I found it on the website. I sent them an email and a picture saying, this isn't what I wanted, quality needs to be better than this. And they said, oh, yep, no worries. And they put through another order for me, and I got an extra t-shirt and an extra jumper. So that makes me confident in their ability to get back to you and sort of look after you if the product's not there. So, but apart from that, I've got a nice bright red jumper which looks really cool. Well, as cool as you can with a big House of Mario logo on you, I guess. And yeah, the laptop sleeve's really cool. I got it for my MacBook Pro, slip it right in there. And I haven't got the mugs or the stickers or anything yet, but yeah, I would like to. I really want like a House of Mario sticker for my Switch dock. That'd be awesome. I will just say though, the shipping is from USA. These guys are based in New York. So if you guys are based in the USA, obviously the shipping's going to be a lot cheaper. In Australia, I noticed like when I had things bundled together, obviously the shipping was a bit less because they can put it all in together, whereas I bought like a red t-shirt and that was just by itself, so the shipping was more expensive because that was just on the one item. So do keep that in mind, the shipping from the US if you're Australian or UK or elsewhere in the world, it may be a bit more expensive. But there is a way you can get a discount if you keep listening. So I guess another huge announcement I've got for you guys is we are actually starting a brand new Patreon. So that's over at patreon.com/iDruby. And this has been something I've been wanting to do for a long time, probably since mid last year. Like, it would be great to start a Patreon. And my thinking behind Patreon isn't just try and earn money. I think it's like, for one, the House of Mario, we don't have like a web page or anything like that. So Patreon works great as like a base for us, so we can post all of this content on the one page, whether it's from a Drew story, whether it's from the House of Mario, or these other upcoming things we've got planned. This is a page you can come to and you can see everything that's going on. It's not just Twitter or something where it's like bite-sized sort of chunks and all of that stuff. So, So we're starting Patreon. Obviously the first one is to sort of obviously raise money to help support some of these projects we're doing. So hosting fees for the House of Mario, hosting fees for a Drew story, and I actually use some other programs which what's it called? It's called Storyblock Audio. And they cost money, and I don't mind that they cost money. Obviously, this is my hobby. This is something I'm really passionate about, so spending money on it isn't a big deal. But obviously, every little bit helps to sort of keep pushing forward and keep funding new fun things. But the biggest reason I want to start up this Patreon is to give back to you guys who support us, and you guys who really make this so much fun each week. And I guess how we plan on giving back to you guys is we've got 3 tiers available on the Patreon. The first one is at $1, and it gives you access to a brand new exclusive podcast Bryce and I are doing. It's called Cracking Furfies. So Cracking Furfies is basically a variety podcast where Bryce and I talk about anything that isn't Nintendo based or even gaming based. We can talk about whatever we want. Really looking forward to doing this with Bryce. This is going to be a creative outlet for us two to be able to talk about things and do things we wouldn't do on this show, because obviously this is gaming, and Cracking Furfies is going to be something different. And also putting it on Patreon, the main thing, it's going to be monthly, so buying a whole new RSS feed isn't really plausible for me at the moment, just because that's an extra $150 a year you've got to put towards basically another podcast. Whereas Patreon, you get a free RSS feed to put this podcast on. So that makes a lot of sense, and we can sort of be a bit more free, because the people listening to us will also be like our friends, and they'll know us. So it won't just be a random podcast that pops up sort of on iTunes. So we're looking forward to that. And $1 also gets you a Patreon supporter title in the House of Mario's Discord, and you also get a 10% off coupon for our TeePublic store. So that way you'll be able to sort of get money off on the TeePublic store if you're interested in an item over there, and access to our monthly podcast Cracking Furfies, which Bryce and I are looking forward to doing a lot. It's something we've been wanting to do for a while. We just didn't know how to do it, and now we have it this way, that it's available on Patreon. So the next tier is for $5. You get access to a behind-the-scenes podcast called Secret Recording, and that's basically me. It might be going for like 10 to 15 minutes, just giving you an insight into behind the scenes. There's going to be lots of stuff about how the art came together for these podcasts. Simon Blackburn did an awesome job on all of the art for the Patreon and these podcasts, and sort of the ideas behind a Drew story, Cracking Furfies, the House of Mario, and each month it will be just discussing, what's going on and all that type of thing, and that will evolve over time. And looking forward to doing that one. You also get a week's early access to a Drew story. So a Drew story is bi-weekly, so basically early access will be on the opposite end of the it going live on public feeds. So so that'll be good if you're into that podcast. And you do sort of get early access to the House of Mario. How the House of Mario works is we actually record it basically on a Sunday each week, but it goes up on the Tuesday. So we record on the Sunday, I come and edit it on the Monday, put it up, and then it's available Tuesday morning. So what I've basically said is that as soon as it's edited and finished, which will probably be like Monday night, that's when it will be available on Patreon. Then probably it'll only be like 6 hours or something later where it will be available on the free feeds. So I'll probably say, if you're looking for early access to the House of Mario, this isn't necessarily going to be worth it for you, but it is there. And I guess this will also be a time to say that nothing the House of Mario, nothing a Drew's story is going to be locked behind anything on this Patreon. It's all going to be extra content that is incentivized for the Patreon. So yeah, so that's something I'm proud about. Next up, you also, for the $5 tier, you also get 20% off TeePublic store coupon. So you get a bit more money off of an item if you want to go that way. And the last tier is the podcast producer at $10. So you get your name read aloud at the end of a Drew story, the House of Mario, and all Patreon exclusive shows. You have the ability to be a part of the opening skit to the House of Mario. Now this is one I'm really excited to share with you guys, because the skits is something Bryce and I have a lot of fun with, and having it available to you guys to be able to be a part of it. And being a part of it, that can mean you could put a script together, which just Bryce and I do. You could read a few lines and act as a character in the skit. Like, the possibilities are endless. But all I ask is, if you want to have your voice in the skit, you just need a decent microphone. You can't just record it on your your old like flip phone or something. You got to make sure you have a decent microphone. Like, that could be a gaming headset, like, or even a decent laptop mic. I know like the MacBooks have like decent mics on them, but some laptops just sound like a big echo. But I guess we can work with that. Like, if you have like a real bad mic, we could just pretend like you're someone ringing us on the phone or something. You know, there are ways to work around that. So that's a reward I'm really excited to be offering. And last but not least is another TeePublic store coupon code, and you get 30% off if you're at the $10 tier. So if you get 30% off then a few items, you know, you could potentially be saving money on items if you want to be getting them. So yeah, so that sums it all up. So let me just recap that. I'm starting a brand new podcast called A Drew Story, which is a story-driven conversational podcast where different guests each episode. There's a TeePublic store where you can get the House of Mario clothing, mugs, whatever it might be. And we're starting a Patreon where we have cracking furfies and secret recordings as exclusive podcasts on there. And that pretty much sums it up. Yeah. Ooh, got that out. Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you check it all out. There's links to everything I just mentioned in the show notes below, and I just want to thank you guys. You know, since doing episode 100, absolutely love doing that, and I want to thank everybody who listens to this podcast, whether you have reached out and said, "Hey, how you going?" or you know, you just you're in the background and you haven't said anything to us. Thank you so much for listening to this show. Bryce and I love you so much for giving us your time. And even if you can't, even if you're not interested in, you know, any of this, but you're still like, I just like a Nintendo podcast, that's fine. Absolutely love you. Thank you so much. You listening, downloading, and rating this show is more than enough. Absolutely more than enough. But if it sounds like this is the type of thing you're interested in, if you think these perks and all that are interesting to you, come over to patreon.com/RideRuby, see what it's all about. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. And next up is going to be our AvCon mega episode where we share everything we got up to at AvCon. I'm recording this before then, so I couldn't tell you what happened. Don't know. You tell me, future person. Alright. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you next time on the House of Mario. And hopefully a Drew story. Hopefully you come across and check that out.